You're watching the FARC Elite Series, powered by Smash Beer on OEN. Brought to you this week by Filth Busters Cleaning Service. Here are the highlights from the feature race at the Empire Drive the Dream Challenge, race 35 in the championship. And taking the Marlisle Pole Award would be Mo Lester in the 619 for Children's Benefit Motorsports, and de facto teammate J.W. Lester qualified on the outside of the front row. Of course, Mo Lester's cars are built and prepared by Peter Irving Gray Sports. It was all good the first couple of laps, but then John Hawks blows up near the back of the field on lap number 3. He would be the first retirement of the day. He finished second to Jason Bates in his sprint race, and this would hold up Wanda Fedicki-Ladowski and Hiki Hitsuno. Cars 4 and 21 would lose the pack. Mo Lester got shuffled out of line. J.W. Lester now leads the field. Kevin Monroe second. There's Mo Lester running in 10th the last time around. He's trying to make his way back up towards the front. Dan Leckliter up in smoke on lap number 8. Leckliter was having a bit of a slow start to the race. He was 25th last time around. Allie Riggs also went out of the race on lap 11. And at the same time, Richard Scott finds himself at the front of the field, but he's being chased down by Zach Webster and Jack Dempsey, the two Accelerator Motorsports cars right behind him. But Allie Riggs would not make it back around to the pit lane. She stops on the apron at the exit of turn 2. That would bring out the bigger collision and glass caution for the first time today. Radomir Stanichev led the field after everybody pitted under that caution. Zach Webster on the attack tries to mount a charge around the outside, but Stanichev has the preferred line. But here comes Mo Lester with a push from Kevin Monroe. Mo Lester has been making strides in the Rookie of the Year standings after his late start to the season. A good performance today would do wonders for his average finish. J.W. Lester, who was battling at the start of the race for the lead with Mo Lester, now finds himself back in 35th. Mo Lester has a bit of a hiccup and starts to lose positions. Monroe now leads the race. Jason Bates in the 2, trying to chase him down as Mo Lester continues to drop back. Cade Taylor in the 125 has an even more disastrous loss of power. Cade Taylor barely able to break 180 right now as the rest of the field is averaging 190. Ryan Matthews had been stuck in the middle of the pack for a while after starting 15th, but now he's starting to gain some ground. He is up to 7th at the end of that last lap, as Kelly Splicen, the Sprint 2 winner, makes a charge around the outside of Kevin Monroe. A rare instance of the outside line working, but you can make it work if you get a big push. Rick Tyler out of the race with an engine failure on lap 21. And on the next lap, towards the back of the field, Ashley Tucker gets a bump from Rachel Rainsford, sending the 90 car around in front of the rest of the field. Caitlin Richler and Kelly Posadas involved, and the 90 goes upside down. And after a few more spins, the 90 will land on its wheels, and Tucker will try to drive that car away. Even though that car is clearly done, Tucker's determination to drive it away clearly tells us that she's okay. Tammy Barnton takes herself out of the race after pit stops as she smashes into the back of J.W. Lester, not paying any attention at all, or maybe she's angry about a parking ticket or something. Kelly Splicen leads on the restart, but here comes Monica Rook with a charge up the inside. Monica Rook is showing why she's 15th in points despite not running all of the races as she moves into the lead. She has been greatly outperforming her teammate Makoto Yamada. Cade Taylor's problems still have not been solved even after he pitted under that last caution, and Mo Lester, while he's been able to keep up, is still stuck towards the back. Radomir Stanichev's engine expires on lap 30, no surprise there. Jack Dempsey and Harry Estanola encounter the slow car of Cade Taylor as they fight for the lead. Taylor sticks to the bottom, letting Enola and Ryan Matthews go on the high side, and he now starts to hold up the entire inside line. Moments later, the field would encounter J.W. Lester, who's got the damage from being smashed into by Tammy Barnton. He lets his teammate Enola go. In fact, that's how Enola won the race at Chicagoland Speedway last season. Lester held up the leader coming to the line, and Enola snuck by. So these two obviously work very well together. Frank Asher, the only Tom Delgado Racing representative, has a problem and limps back to the pit lane. He would lose 3 laps, and Ryan Matthews' day would end early. He's going to gain some points on his main championship rival Jim Hayes, who failed to make the feature, but he's going to lose a bit of ground to Libby Bell and Kevin Monroe. Monica Rook's engine expires, and she comes to a stop on the inside of the backstretch, bringing out the Vicker Collision and Glass caution again. You just saw Isaac Leitner's engine expire, as we have some odd pit strategy going on, as several teams apparently forgetting that they need to make at least one more stop. So several cars had stayed out until they were called in, coming to the one to go. Jason Bates leads over Bigsby Foot and Harry Asinola on the restart, but then this group would all be called into the pits by their teams as the mass confusion continues, and we've got trouble. Taylor Brillin got held up by Todd Stater entering the pit lane, and she's sent spinning by the 27 of Richard Scott right back in front of traffic. Nanami Miura smashes into the 9, as well as Michael Madrigal in the pie car. And this is going to cap a very strange portion of this race with just under 25 laps to go. Kevin Monroe, the other M&J car in this race, goes out with an engine failure. Scott Dalitz leads on the restart. Everybody will be good to go to the end now. We have several drivers in the top 10 right now that had not been near the front all day, but they got shuffled to the front in all that chaos. Scott Dalitz, Jessica Graham, Andrea Kinasa, and Kiki Hitsuno amongst them. Harry Asinola blows up and tries to pull onto the apron, but Zach Webster is right there. They both go spinning. The Vickers collision and glass caution brought out again on lap 59. Enola goes out of the race, and Zach Webster has a bit of rear end damage from hitting the inside wall. Hopefully this doesn't affect him too much, as Webster really doesn't need any more misfortune this season, although his spot at Accelerator Motorsports is very safe for next season. Andre Kinasa now leads. Frank Azure in the 37, still a couple laps down, but is able to keep up with the leaders. This is something that's usually even more of a nuisance for the leaders as a slow-lapped car, but others are going to use him for their advantage, such as Scott Dalitz, who pushes past the 78 on the outside, and Scott Dalitz will take the lead back, coming to 9 laps to go. Jason Bates in the Andy Pearson 2 is making his way towards the front, and he's going to make it 4 wide for the lead. Dalitz stuck at the very top. Contact between Bates and Kinasa. Frank Azure still at the front of this pack, not making any effort to get out of the way, but Jason Bates now moves into the lead. Robert Nelson in the McSwain Tech 43 tries to follow through to second. Nelson, the Australian rookie, is amongst several drivers in this group searching for their maiden FARC win, and he's driving for the team whose staff is the least experienced of most people in the FARC garage. The McSwain Tech 43, of course, is built and prepared by engineering students for a grade, and he's giving that car a very good showing towards the end of this race, but now he's challenged by Mo Lester, who moves back into the lead after taking the pole. But here comes Bigsby Foot with a push from Jack Dempsey. Sergio Power and Accelerator Motorsports have a very strong alliance with Power Steering Incorporated, the factory Leonard and Lacoya team in the TM ranks. Jack Dempsey falls back a bit as Foot and Mo Lester duel for the lead, but here comes Todd Stater making a charge with just a couple of laps to go, dipping his tires onto the apron very briefly to make that pass. And coming to the white flag, Julia Ashcroft now finds herself on the inside of Bigsby Foot, being pushed into the lead by Todd Stater, the 422. Julia Ashcroft in the Messena Motorsports 251, trying to win a second race for that team this year, but Todd Stater gets a run on the inside, and he's going to push past the 251. Todd Stater has been trying to get his career going again and reestablish himself as a contender after his wreck at Quincy last year. And with a last lap pass, Todd Stater takes home the victory in the Empire Drive the Dream Challenge. And now, here are the championship standings. Leaving Talladega, Ryan Matthews leads by 56 points over Jim Hayes. Matthews certainly did not make the gains that he would have liked, but he didn't lose too much ground to Libby Bell or Kevin Monroe either. Rachel Rainsford and Scott Dalitz make some gains. Monica Rook moves up into 12th. She failed to finish, but she did make the feature. And Todd Stater jumps up into the top 20 with his win. And looking at the Rookie of the Year standings, Reed Bullitt took a pretty big hit to his average finish with his poor run in the sprint after getting caught up in that wreck. Frank Azure took second from Vincenzo Focusato, but these two are closing in on Reed Bullitt.